you were just now walking down
Yeah,
turn the lights back into it. Lights are going up. And we are the Other People Show. I'm Adam,
I'm Casey.
and we are back after a great real talk. I don't know about you, Casey, but I think that whoever does the show before us, they do a good job.
Yeah.
Because every week I seem to be entertained.
When we come in, we're getting set up and ready to go. No, it's great.
I mean, they discuss a good movie. I want to go back and watch Pulp Fiction now, just because of the duo that was here before us.
Right. Good guys, those guys are.
Yeah, they're nice. They're getting it up quickly. But
yeah, it's insanely quick.
Yeah, really quick. So please check out their show, Real Talk, right here on WLSD 92.5. Yeah, and they're bringing movies back to the vault, which I like.
It's great. That's what's great about this station.
Yeah. So, please, if you're just tuning in, please check out the Other People Show on Facebook, YouTube, TikToks, and Spotify. Yes, that's all of them.
I think that covers them.
Yeah. So, and you've got your page up and going.
Yeah. The YouTube page is up. So I do some live feeds on Facebook Monday and Wednesday, right around lunchtime. And so all those past ones are up on YouTube. Casey Messick is my name.
So please go there and check that out, because Casey has a lot of cool things that he talks about. Yeah. Some discussion, and you want to get interactive as well. So that's going to be cool.
Yeah. It's definitely going to, it's just, I'm just about 2 weeks in, maybe 3. So yeah, I mean, good stuff down the road for sure.
A lot of fun things and a lot of interesting and creative things are in the works here at the show, both with me and Casey, and collaborative as well.
Yeah.
So we're very happy to get into that. So how's your week been this week?
It's been great. Well, my week's really just getting started.
Okay.
Where I do Black Bear,
right,
in Appalachia. We run Thursday through Sunday. So Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday is my work week.
Okay.
The rest of the time, I'm working on this kind of stuff, content for the show, content for my live feeds. I'm working on documentaries. I'm working on all that stuff. In the meantime, it is 11/11 too, by the way, folks.
Yeah, so you got
if you follow cool that kind of stuff,
a lot of cool things, and I think that we need to get Casey in the studio and have him start doing some podcasts for Spotify.
Yeah, that would be good.
We'll do that.
I could totally do that.
I think
I'm really wanting to get some restaurant one going.
I think that's a good idea.
Because I mean, I've done restaurants for so long. I got so many stories. I've got so many connections to them. I've got actually this buddy of mine. I'd intended to get a hold of him before the show, but I'll certainly try and get a hold of him between now and next week. This friend of mine, Chris Lunasick Amick, is this cat that I worked with at this Tex-Mex joint called Tumbleweed out in Indiana. And he's not in the restaurant business anymore. Oh, I'd mentioned to you before. No, it wasn't on the show. I don't think I'd mentioned to you when we were talking one time. And he grew up in Gary.
Oh, Indiana. Yeah, in Indiana.
You know what I mean? And so he's a rapper now. He's a performer, and he's on tour, I'm pretty sure. I know he's doing shows because I see him on Facebook. So, go check him out on Facebook.
I did look him up after you mentioned him the other day.
Some of it's not bad. And, it's not bad. He's come a long way, because I've listened to this guy. Again, this was, probably 8 years ago, maybe, that I met this guy.
Right.
And so, and he was doing it then, but he was doing it, but he wasn't doing it at this level he is now. And he's got an album out, and so he's doing great. But I talked to him; he had showed up on one of my live feeds, and we're going to get him to call in and talk to us, because that would be cool.
I think that's a cool thing.
And at least on the show, but I would like to pull him into the restaurant one too, just because he's got some cool restaurant stories. But really, he's not into restaurants. He's music. And he has been.
All music. Well, that's cool that you said.
That paid the bills. Restaurants paid the bills.
That you said 8 years ago he was doing it, and he's still doing it now.
Yeah.
So how many people, and this could be us included, the listening audience, how many people do you know that, they've had a dream, they have something they want to accomplish, even if it's just for themselves, but they continue it for 8 years?
Yeah, right. And just keep.
Much less a year.
That's a love.
Yeah. Yeah,
that's love. That's what that is.
And if you would do,
that's what kept me in restaurants for 30 years. You know what I mean?
Right.
Because it's not easy work. You know what I mean? Make no mistake about it. it's a hard industry to be in, but I always say it takes a rare breed to make a career out of the restaurant industry.
Well, see, it was kind of weird because with radio and the shows and stuff, I've done the show in some variation for many many years. Sometimes I've gotten paid for it, sometimes I haven't.
Sure.
But I've always the same thing with the short films and such. Even the feature film that I made, Virginia Running with Andy Dick, um, I paid for all that with side hustle money that I've made
Right.
over the years.
Right.
Because I thought, well, it's only going to get made if I do it myself.
Right.
Which is what we've done with the show.
Yeah, exactly.
You know.
Exactly.
And did I know 100%? You know, when we started, you jumped on board with Clay Pigeons, I think.
Yeah.
And did you fast forward, 6 months? Not even that much, is it?
I don't even know that it's been 6 months.
And here we are.
On the radio.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I never would have saw that coming. And again, no, you're right. It's happened quickly.
Yeah.
And that's awesome. I mean, it seems kind of on par with the way stuff's been going on in my life anyway,
Right.
for a little while. So no, it's awesome. I'm loving it.
Me too.
I did not see this coming, but we're gonna roll with it.
Yes, we are. And the cool thing, if you want to watch in our live stream, you can do that on the Facebook or the other people's show.
Yeah, definitely
But
check it out.
There's
Get the visual to go with the audio.
There's a lot of behind the scenes things in the studio that's happening that the listening audience can't really tell that's happening. Like sometimes you've got to talk by yourself because I'm trying to hook up cables.
No, yeah,
just all these things going on.
It gets interesting, yeah. When you get the live feed going too, and you get the video, it's interesting. And because again we're on radio, which seems so crazy. Like I thought it was so awesome because I was like, I'm putting out this content. We're all about online, and we're like so hyped up. Like we were on analog radio.
Yes,
right now. This is the most awesome thing ever. We I don't know. It almost feels like a dinosaur technology in a way.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. And it makes me wonder. Like I'm super interested. Like how many people are listening right now?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because with the advent of things like Spotify and all that, like how many people still listen to analog radio? You know what I mean?
Very true.
No, I think. Well, I mean, maybe people traveling, but I don't know. Because again, like Spotify, XM radio, like all that kind of stuff. No, I'm super curious.
Me too. If you want to call about that, you can give us a call at 1-855-925-9573. 1-855-925-9573.
Yeah, we're super curious.
So we're going to do things in the future. We're going to be able to take more calls. But tonight is just we're producerless tonight.
Yeah, we're producerless.
So we're being the producers ourselves.
Yeah, we're handling multiple things.
Yes.
So I'm going to answer the phones and whatnot.
So what do you think about, we've had all these technology for years and years, obviously, but I was looking up the old BlackBerry the other day, just the phone.
You're right.
And the evolution of the BlackBerry, and here we are, you've got the Android, I've got the iPhone.
Yeah.
And we're at the
live streaming on the iPad over here, and I've got, I don't know what my laptop is right now.
HP.
Yeah.
So we've got all these
Dell here.
I mean, there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 screens in here.
A lot.
But we're piped in. We calculated we broadcast between here and 88.7, which will be on Saturdays at 10 p.m. to over 1,000 miles.
Yeah, that's good
the radius of our show.
It takes us into Tennessee, Kentucky,
even Ohio.
Does it? I was going to say West Virginia. I thought.
West Virginia.
I don't know if it goes down into.
I was wrong about Ohio. West Virginia was where it was, not Ohio.
I was going to say, damn.
And I think a little bit of the Carolinas past Kingsport, a little bit that way.
Sure. You're getting up to Irwin and before.
And then that's not even counting what we, I've been going through the archives and I resurrected this character, Pippin, this little puppet. So I've been trying to find just little random things until I can get to a groove to post on TikTok or on a reel. Just things I think will promote things.
Sure.
So the other day I posted this little 10-second reel of fire.
Right.
Over 400 views on just that.
No, I know, it's crazy.
And I'm like, okay, so if we can gather at least a tenth of all and I've seen on Facebook it's been 18 days of more viewers than the previous. I'll get these notifications.
Yeah, nice.
So I'm hoping some of those will pipeline back into our show.
Yeah.
We get some audience interaction going, and we're going to have a hell of a time.
No. Once we really
start firing on all cylinders.
And because again, we're I've never done this before.
Yeah.
a radio show or anything like this. So
And this is really, honestly, only I've been in the studio. I think back in the WLSD studio once before to record a show.
yeah,
So this is only my third time recording a show back here.
yeah.
So yeah, I'm having. Do you feel this energy like, right before I'm like getting pumped up?
Oh yeah.
And there's like this energy to being live. I love doing the podcast. I love it.
I enjoy it too. Being live is something else though.
Yeah.
I mean, it's very. I like the live format for anything. I watch a lot of YouTube videos and I listen to a lot of people talk because
Right.
again, like I'm making that transition myself, and so I watch them either for ideas or to just kind of.
It's always a learning thing.
Yeah, it's a learning. Yeah, to learn and stuff. But it's hard because when you watch a lot of that stuff, it's edited up.
Yeah.
So it runs real kind of smooth. But I'm not edited up. You know what I mean? Like, I like being off the cuff.
Yeah.
I like just letting it roll out however.
Improv.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, we do have an itinerary of topics we might want to get to, but we never know when we step in here how we might feel.
No, yeah. You just want to roll with it.
Yeah, and what happens, something could happen, like right before we walk through the door.
Yeah,
that we want to talk about. So, keeping with the topic of technology, do you think for yourself, and then we can get into maybe globally, but do you think it's been more of a help or a hindrance to your life? Or a little bit of both?
I would say a little bit of both. Listen, I've long said that like technology is that double-edged sword that can save us or destroy us.
Right.
Kind of thing. And of course, we're at a point, I think, in human history that it's definitely a thing. Now, listen, for me personally, I don't see where there can be much discussion on whether or not it has improved our lives, because it has it's technology that we're broadcasting with right now. It's technology that we're live streaming with and all that stuff.
Right.
Now, has it created downsides too? Sure.
Yeah.
But, I wonder with the technology and the downsides, if that has always been an issue with technology. I mean, I suppose, with the advent of, television.
Right.
Or maybe even radio, was that the distraction that things like social media and stuff like that are now?
Right. I've thought about that too.
I've had this love-hate relationship with stuff like Facebook for a while, because I've found myself multiple times in the last, 13, 14 years, whatever I've been on there. It's very addictive.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And
you have to
that's not necessarily good, but at the same time, the platform, I have been able to connect with and meet people from all over the planet that absolutely never would have happened without Facebook.
And
it could have eventually, I guess, with the internet, but Facebook just flipped the script completely.
Well, also to the fact that I remember doing the show at 88.7 WMMT in Whitesburg, and we wanted to have some of the things that technology that we have available to us now. We wanted to be able to contact and interact with the listeners, and we wanted to do the video chat, and we wanted to do we do the streaming and Zoom, and those things weren't available, but it would have been so much better. But at the time, I personally didn't think of the negatives of it. I never thought, there'll be I never really did think there would be a device like the phone that we have now that we would be able to pretty much look at virtually anything.
Anything. You're connected to the world.
At any given moment.
At any given moment. And it's funny because, like I said, I got graduated in high school in 94, and I can remember in school, and it was always the running joke, and you had to take all these classes, and you had to learn all this math, because it's not like you're going to have a calculator in your pocket all the time. And I was like, well, you're right. I have an entire computer in my back pocket.
Well, even now, even back, I remember, when I was younger, watching some James Bond films, and they would, be talking into the watch.
Yeah, right.
And now people are talking into the watch.
Yeah, well, they say you dream it and then you build it.
Yeah.
Really, and I grew up again on the Jetsons and stuff. It's 2023. I think in my mind, growing up, by now we would have been further along Jets. But even when you look at the Jetsons, it seemed all cool as a kid. But now in retrospect, as an adult, you have Cogswell Cogs, slave driver, you know what I mean? And they all work for him. And it's just crazy. But a lot of that stuff, again, Jetsons was that first idea to me growing up of video chatting and stuff.
Yeah,
and
I forgot about the
have
Jetsons.
all that stuff now,
I did think, though, let's see, you mentioned flying cars. Now, there's one thing I do remember. I thought things would be more, and I guess they could be in a way, more post-apocalyptic looking.
Sure.
When I was younger, envisioning the future, I would have envisioned something along the lines of maybe, and it was all due to movies, obviously, but
Sure,
something
a lot
along
of
the
you
lines
was.
of like, maybe a Blade Runner or
Yeah.
something, because it seemed like flying cars were the thing that was talked about a lot
Yeah.
in movies, in TV shows, in songs, in cartoons,
Yeah.
robots, technology,
Technology's always
flying
been
cars.
a big part of it.
And I honestly thought when I was younger that flying cars would be a bigger part of my life than it has been. Because there's been none. No part at all.
No, there are no flying cars.
That and quicksand. I thought was there anything when you were younger that you thought would play a bigger part of your life?
Like quicksand was a bigger threat than it actually was?
Yes.
No, because I hadn't thought about it, but it seems like I recall in school, like they would teach you about quicksand. I remember, like when I was growing up, I grew up in Florida on the beach, and so like one of the big things we were taught about like undertows and stuff. Of course,
Right.
Yeah, undertows. It has never been a thing. Of course, I live in the mountains now, so it's completely non-issue. But no, quicksand has never been an issue. But I've got this book.
Have you ever seen quicksand in real life? I don't know if I've even been around quicksand.
No, I can't say that I have. But again, I grew up in Florida, so maybe I have. I mean, because it's practically below
That seems
sea
like
level
that
anyway.
seems like that would be more of a place for
A place,
quicksand.
yeah, sure. But again, I can't.
It just
I never
seems like
have.
you
If
got.
I didn't know, and maybe a good thing.
I mean, maybe it was like because you had Pitfall, that Atari game,
Oh,
and you had to get out of
geez,
quicksand. It
yeah.
seems like there were movies where you had to get through quicksand, and like even in the
Never-ending story.
yeah,
of quicksand pops
yeah,
up, and
yeah.
the horse a tray.
yeah, it gets stuck down,
Yeah.
So,
some sorrow. I can't remember what the forest was called. No.
I can't either. But yeah, so I really thought that would be a bigger issue than it's been.
Yeah.
But I never did really think of the getting addicted to technology and seeing all the problems
Sure.
globally.
Yeah.
Which
Well, I mean, again, technology has changed. It changed the face of everything as it's gone, and so now, I mean, we're in this world now. We can't. I don't think we go backwards.
no.
Like technology never goes backwards.
And I don't even think that we have, as humans, can really. It'd be like the concept of trying to imagine forever in your mind.
Yeah, right.
What would you do forever?
Forever.
And then you would start. It would maybe drive you crazy after a while, but it would be the like I forgot where I was going with that, but the technology aspect of it is, like you said, it won't go backwards.
No, and everybody knows like technology is a big topic of discussion. AI is a big topic of discussion right now, and probably rightfully so, because it's kind of crazy. Because again, I feel like things like ChatGPT and stuff, when they came out, and the AI stuff, and I don't know. I'm still kind of trying to figure out my feelings kind of on ChatGPT, because I wonder sometimes is it actually AI,
Right.
or is it just a really good information aggregator?
Right.
Is it just really good at scouring the internet for everything you put in? But I think when we talk about AI, people tend to leave out the term like machine learning.
Yeah.
So one thing I noticed about ChatGPT, which may lend itself to the AI-ness of it, or maybe define it as AI, is it will adjust the language it uses to you.
Really?
To the language you use. Yeah, and so one of the things I'm learning with it, because I like playing with the AI stuff, because I mean it's here, we have it.
Right.
It's not going anywhere.
Right.
And it's only going to continue to evolve in whatever
develop.
form, and everybody's freaking out about it. But the thing about AI and stuff, keep in context. I was like, AI taking over it. We are nowhere near anything like that, but it's machine learning. So again, like I illustrated, like the more you learn how to kind of talk to it,
Right.
it will adapt to you, but it's learning again based on your input.
Right.
It's not just like ChatGPT doesn't pull up anything unless you type a prompt into it.
Right.
Then it acts. It's not just like sitting there
Operating
working
on itself.
on its own. No,
Right.
no, it requires input and it gives you an output. So, in that context, but it's a great tool, and again, one of the big discussions I think with AI says that I see a lot is around like AI art.
Right.
To each their own on art. I was in a thread before the show about it, kind of, and a lot of people diss it because they're like, well, art without the human touch isn't art.
Right.
You know, and somebody was like, well, I would accept this AI art being considered, you know, imagery. And again, like I have tons and tons and tons of AI generated art that I created with this app Wombo.
Right.
You can get it on the Play Store.
I think you
I've
showed
done,
me.
yeah, you know, and I've got tons of them because you'll generate one. You're like, well, this is almost, you know, if I hit regenerate, I'm not going to get the same image again, and so you just end up saving all.
Well, that
I've
would
got
be
tons
like
and
what
tons
the
and tons.
same people they could
But some
say.
of them are really cool.
Well, they could be like, well, it's not real music because they use all computer
Electronics, right?
instruments.
It's almost the same kind. And
You know?
again, and the argument I made to him, I was like, well, I feel like art and what's considered art is kind of beauty's in the eye of the beholder. You know,
Yeah.
it's like without the human touch. And I was like, well, I see things in nature that I would consider art that are completely untouched by man,
Right.
and it's art. You know, I can see a formation in the clouds.
Right.
Look, take a picture of it. You know what I mean? It's because it's art, and it has nothing to do with the hands of man at all.
Exactly.
And so, again, like that AI stuff is very much operates based on your input.
Right.
The better your input,
The better.
the better prompts you use, the better result you're going to get. And
Hmm.
I've got tons of cool stuff. And like a lot of them, I have these scenes. This is what I tell people. One of the tools I've found about the AI stuff between the art, whether it be Midjourney or Wombo or any of those, is it's inspirational.
Right.
I mean, you get a lot of inspiration. You'll generate this image, and I have these scenes where I'm like, this feels like there should be a story behind this.
Right.
You know what I mean?
So it's a good creative springboard.
Sure, absolutely. You know, and I use like ChatGPT as a great research tool because you can gather a lot of information super quick. And it, again, the better you prompt it, the better result you're going to get.
Right.
It will line item stuff for you. It will bullet point. It will, you know, one of the worries is can write papers and all of that kind of stuff. You know, but at the same time, you know, if it does a lot of this stuff, why hate on it? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And people worry about AI and automation, but part of me is kind of like, what, you know, we were talking about these ideas of the future, and with movies, and you know, like we mentioned Blade Runner and stuff, and it got me thinking. At that moment, I was like, well, what? It really, when I think about movies and media and all that stuff, every version of the future that we've been fed is pretty dystopian.
Yeah, it is.
It's all dystopian. Like, is there no utopian like ideas out there? Because if you think about utopia, for me personally, I imagine a world where I don't have to go to work all the time. None of us do.
Right.
These menial jobs, pumping gas, flipping burgers, the wasted bag in groceries. You know, grocery stores are already self-checkout. I mean,
Yeah.
It's like automation. I don't use them because I don't work here.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? I just got off work. I don't work here. I'm not checking. If you're going to give me my food cheaper if I check myself out because I'm not whatever, cool, I'll do that perhaps. But otherwise, no, like free labor, what a scam.
Yeah.
Stop using self-checkout. They have employees to do all that stuff that they pay.
Oh,
You're giving
also,
them free labor. Stop doing it.
If
They're a
anyone-
gigantic company.
if anyone can guess the theme that I was playing as we were talking, give us a call at 1-855-925-9573 and then win a prize.
Oh, nice. Prize
Win a
time.
prize, yeah. 1-855-925-9573 and guess the theme that was playing. Do you know the theme that was playing?
I don't know. It's running my mouth.
Well, I snuck it in.
You did.
And I was wondering, I wonder, because the key to the music bed is have the conversation go, and then as the conversation's going, slowly build it in.
In case you need to slowly fade the hell out.
Now let's see if anybody guesses.
Fade slowly away from the microphone.
Let's see if you know what it is, Casey.
All right.
All right, we'll listen to it in a second. This might be a tough one.
It's a theme song.
It's the
Can you give us a clue? Is it like a movie? Kind
it's
of
a movie theme that it's related to something you were just talking about.
A movie theme song. Is this from Artificial Intelligence?
No, it's from a movie. With the franchise has
Oh, I
continued.
wasn't supposed to guess. It's a contest.
Oh, you can guess.
I lost. Okay, so if you're playing along.
Yeah, if you're playing along.
Not artificial intelligence with what's that kid's name? It was in
Haley
Six Sense.
Haley
Yeah,
Joe.
Thank you.
So, all right, we'll let Casey get two more
Spacey also.
questions to help out the audience. You got two more questions.
Okay.
You can ask me two more hints.
So I know it's a movie theme song.
Yep. The main theme.
The main theme. Can you give us one of the lead actors? If you can't give us a lead, give us a good support.
Okay. The lead actor is the main character. He was once bad. Now he's good. I can't give the name. That would give it away.
You told me the actor's name.
I think that would give it away immediately. Which he isn't in. The main actor is not in every single one of the franchise movies.
So it's a franchise movie.
Yes. Yes, it's a franchise.
It's a franchise movie based on something I was just talking about.
I'm
trying to
It
remember what I was just talking
relates
about.
the topic. It's not got to this point yet, but it relates. Okay, one more question. Let's see if anybody can get it.
All right. Can you give us
It's an action movie. I'll say that. It's an action franchise.
an action movie franchise? I was gonna ask for a year maybe.
You got like, well,
Are we in the 90s or are we in 2000s?
there's been one in every decade.
Wow.
Since the 80s, 90s, 2000s, 2010s.
I'm really bad at this.
Okay, maybe not in the 2020s, but at least the last 80s through,
So an action movie franchise that goes back to the 80s.
yeah.
About somebody who was bad but is now good. Is bad and becomes good. I'm kind of stumped. I'm not good on it.
You want the answer?
Sure,
The
yeah.
answer is the Terminator.
Okay, yeah, Schwarzenegger.
See, if I'd have said Arnold, you would have probably got it.
Wow, there's so many Terminators. But
Yeah.
yeah, I guess you're right.
Yeah.
No, I would not have got Terminator, but I can see that.
So yeah, I was playing that in the background as you were talking about it. I thought it was fitting.
It definitely was when
Yeah.
all talking about AI.
Yeah.
To take over the world.
So-
It's not good.
This was something that interesting. We'll get into a little bit. We got a few minutes left here.
Sure.
A lot of people, most people, I've touched on this before. On average, quit listening to newer music after the age of 35. Why do you think that is? Now, obviously, this is in general terms, not
Yeah.
everyone.
I don't know. I mean, I
But from the
wonder if
research that I've conducted, which I looked at about 5 different places, and the age was mainly 34 to 36, so average 35.
wow, don't listen to new music.
Yep, they listen to less newer music.
That's interesting.
Like-
I wonder if it's like a nostalgia thing. Maybe,
Well, let me
or-
ask you, because you have a daughter. Have
Okay.
you listened to less newer music since you've had a daughter?
Well, what do you mean by newer music? Newer music is in the sense of like more current.
Yeah, more current. Like, was there a certain, because a lot of the research said that a lot of the time when people become parents, they tend to listen to more current music because they're
children.
either listening to maybe their children's music, or time is they were listening to albums or going to concerts before, and now they're doing more.
I don't like a lot of current music.
Yeah, I'm not.
It's current pop music. I listen to a lot of country now.
I'm-
More country. I shouldn't say country, but
I would say I listen to
country
more like.
rock. Like my taste in music has shifted a little bit. I
I'm
love
more
90s.
into-
Like I listen to a lot of 90s still.
I do 90s, and I'll
Can't
listen
go
to a
wrong with
lot
it.
of music if it depends on if I'm working on a project.
Sure.
If I'm working on like a mystery or a thriller, I'll try to listen to music. I'll listen. Music affects my mood a lot,
Well, sure.
and it can turn
It's supposed to. It's
what I think is
great.
going to be a good day into a crying day.
No, I mean depending on what you're listening
Yeah.
to. Sure. Well, you can tell a lot by somebody's playlist.
Yeah.
Or what they're currently listening to. I can always tell what kind of mood my girlfriend's in
Yeah. Just
by what she's
the
listening
music.
to. Yeah, of course.
So going back, what was one of the first concerts you remember going to?
First one I ever went to was Tesla.
Okay.
Yeah, good stuff, man. So I tell you what, if you pull up Tesla,
Okay.
play Love Song.
Okay.
Yeah, that's a good one.
Now set up the scenario for the audience.
Okay,
So a young Casey.
Yeah, I was probably maybe 14, 15.
Okay.
I was growing up in Florida, so I was Palm Bay, Florida. The show was in Lakeland.
Okay.
And I'm pretty sure Lakeland was south a good hour or so, maybe from where I'm at. I was with my stepsister and two of her friends, her boyfriend and his buddy. They were living, I want to say I was 14. They were probably, I was 14, 15. They were probably, 17, 18-ish maybe. They lived on base, Patrick Air Force Base.
Okay.
And so we went to Lakeland to this show. I'd never been to one. And I can remember it because this is one of my rock star moment stories I tell.
Okay.
Because we got to the show. The band Firehouse opened for them.
I've heard of Firehouse.
Yeah, I'm surprised.
I've heard.
I mean, they were real popular.
I mean, I don't
in the day.
I don't know them, but I have heard about them.
Yeah, like I'm trying to remember the name of the song, and I want to say there was a song called "Love of a Lifetime."
Okay.
That I want to say was Firehouse, but I'm not sure if that's what it was. So they opened. We missed most.
It is.
Of the is it? Yes.
Yep.
All right.
Yep.
Good job, Casey.
Good job.
See, the song gets going though. I'm gonna have to be quiet because it's a great song. But
is this your favorite Tesla song?
Arguably one of them. I have. It's a good song.
Well, interesting. So we used to receive these letters when we did the show at WMMT.
Yeah.
And often they would be from prisoners because we had a big Red Onion following, and we were like, and that's one of the only stations they could get.
Right.
And they would often request, this one guy would always request Tesla. And that's how I learned about them.
Yeah, this song's good. What You Give is good. Of course, they did a cover. I'm going to be quiet.
Okay, we'll let it play for
Let's just play it for me. It's a good song. Great one.
I've heard this before.
Yeah. And so we go down, and Firehouse is playing, and I was getting started in smoking pot.
Okay.
At this time I was around my older stepsister.
Now, how old were you when this was going on?
It's like 14, 15.
Okay.
Probably. I want to say I was probably 15. This the first time I smoked weed. And I remember we went down and we were in a Volvo station wagon.
Okay.
And me and her boyfriend's friend Joe, they kind of disappeared to the thing. I ran around to play Joe, and so we kept waiting for the song Signs to come on.
Okay.
Because we wanted to smoke a joint during the song Signs. So we spent a lot of the show, we made our way up to the highest seats practically in the stadium, or it wasn't the stadium, the auditorium or whatever we could find. Like right under probably like a lighting thing, you know what I mean? So we were away from the crowds, watching the show, just waiting. And we're sitting up there, we're watching Tesla, and this other guy comes up, and this chick, and he's got on this jacket, it says crew jacket.
Yeah.
I sat down, there's a seat between me and dude, and then chick, and then Joe is on the other side on my right. And we're just sitting there watching, we're just getting ready to smoke this joint. These people just sat down, that's how I started smelling it, and I was like, John, take this joint. So we lit ours up, and we ended up passing this joint. This dude, I was like, man, you look like the guitarist from Firehouse. Because when we had first got there, they were on stage, they were finishing up. We went down, made our way as far up basically as we could to the stage, and then backtracked to as high as we could. And he just kind of nodded his head. And to this day, I don't know for sure
if it was.
But the story I tell always is I smoked a joint with the guitarist from Firehouse.
Very cool.
Yeah.
Very cool. That is very cool.
No, I thought.
And that was your first show?
Yeah, it was my first concert. I was 15, sitting here, smoking a joint with a rock star.
That's so cool.
Yeah.
That's so cool.
Yeah, it was definitely cool. Now that was followed by Lollapalooza and stuff because it was big in the '90s. And
my first concert, I didn't really get to meet anyone, but my first concert, I think it was a country artist named Sammy Kershaw.
Sammy Kershaw, I've heard of Sammy Kershaw.
Yeah, and it was at Dollywood.
Ah.
And that was the first
one. I couldn't
one.
tell you a Sammy Kershaw song though. That's interesting because that's why when you ask about new music, I had to ask about, are we talking about current or whatever? Because I've just recently kind of started getting into some country music and stuff. And it's weird because I don't know. Like I grew up in Florida. I listened to a lot of
Right.
Jimmy Buffett and stuff like that. And then I grew up on like the Beastie Boys and
Interesting you mentioned Jimmy Buffett. How much do you think Jimmy Buffett's net worth is?
it's probably huge. It's probably ridiculous.
It's
honestly.
crazy. It really is.
Yeah. Well, I mean, Parrot Heads have probably been giving him money for like again since the '70s, probably.
So it's
Old Jimmy
higher than
Buffett.
it was than the last time I looked. So how much would you guess that Jimmy Buffett would be?
600 million. No, that's too low.
Jimmy Buffett is worth $1 billion.
$1 billion.
Yes.
Jimmy's a billionaire.
Yes.
Wow. Holy.
A guy that only sings songs about food.
Right? Well, funny thing about Jimmy Buffett, when I
But his restaurants, though.
the
So
restaurants, well, his sister has a place in Gulf Shores, Alabama, called Lulu's.
oh, does she?
So yeah, I spent a summer down there. I worked in a place called Chronic Tacos down there. Chronic Tacos was in Orange Beach. Lulu's was in Gulfport, or not Gulfport. I'm sorry, Gulf Shores. But it's Jimmy Buffett's sister is who owned the restaurant and stuff, and we were regulars at that place, and it was a great place. So if you're in Gulf Shores, Alabama, definitely check out Lulu's, and Chronic Tacos in Orange Beach is a good place too.
That's funny because I used to go to, he has obviously Margaritaville.
Yeah.
And he also used to have a place called Cheeseburgers in Paradise.
Yeah,
And I've eaten at both. And the Cheeseburgers in Paradise restaurant is actually better in
Is
my
it?
experiences. And that's where he's made most of his money through, the Parrot Heads and the restaurants.
yeah, and merchants.
and he has
Merchandise.
tequila,
Yeah,
Margaritaville, tequila.
Well, that kind of stuff will rack up quick
Yes.
on the backs of, on the back of, I mean, good music.
If we could go ahead and we're going to put this out a little feeler for out there. If anybody wants to come to us, we will develop an alcohol. If slap our names on it,
It's
we would
right.
definitely do that.
You're right. I have, yeah.
I have no
That's
problems. I have no problems with
Yeah, right. Marketing.
having them come on as
The
a
other
sponsor.
people show
Brand liquor,
brand liqueur, right?
But Jimmy Buffett, when I was younger, you would still hear these songs,
Yeah.
and I would often think, is he a serious artist or is he like a Weird Al kind of guy? I didn't know at the time.
Yeah, I would say it's kind of serious.
I
It's
think
good
so, too.
storytelling,
Yeah,
really. I mean,
yeah.
like if you're not familiar with the song, like Pencil Thin Mustache is a good old Jimmy Buffett. I mean, it's old Jimmy Buffett. Like I know some old Jimmy Buffett. I mean, I lived on a boat for a while. You know what I mean, and stuff. And it was in Florida, so I was on the beach, and so it was a lot of Jimmy Buffett. And when I inherited my folks' album collection when I was younger, a lot of Jimmy Buffett. Living and Dying in 3/4 Time, like Last Mango in Paris. Like I can remember all this stuff, man. And Pencil Thin Mustache is a good one.
Let's see. Let's check.
It's all
that
like
out.
old timey, like make you think of like a speakeasy or something.
No, I was.
It's cool. It's
I
a cool
really
track.
grew. One time I'd purchased tickets to see Jimmy Buffett, but the girl that I was going to take we ended up just not working out, and so I didn't go. But Jimmy Buffett, maybe about 5 years ago, has a channel on XM, Sirius
Yeah.
XM, and that's when I really really dove into Jimmy Buffett, albums because they would play it 24/7.
Yeah, right. Yeah, no, a lot of good stuff.
So Pencil Thin. Let's
yeah,
check this.
yeah, it's a good one.
Jump right up and show your age. I wish you had a pencil thin mustache, the Boston Blackie kind, two-tone Ricky Ricardo jacket, and an autographed picture of Andy Devine. I remember being buck tooth skinny.
I'd forgotten that that's what he says.
Yeah.
Have you ever had a pencil thin mustache?
No.
Me either. They always seemed a little bit sinister to me.
Yeah, a little bit. Just looks strange. Like I think of there was an actor back in the day that always wanted to. What was his name? And it was old. I want to say like I can't remember if he was on Saturday Night Live. He used to sport that a lot. He was on movies too. Oh, know his name is gonna kill me now. It's gonna drive me crazy.
Now, I know Vincent Price used to have the pencil thin mustache.
No, this was the guy
Um,
I'm thinking of is not
John
Barber.
Waters, do you know him? John.
I'm familiar.
He has
Yeah.
a pencil thin mustache.
Yeah, no, this was not John Waters. John Waters is a good one as far as pencils and mustaches go.
You know, my sister went to this thing a couple years ago. He's from Baltimore, and he often films.
We're talking John Waters, right?
Yeah, John Waters.
Yeah.
And he always films as part of his movies, you know, in that county in Maryland,
Sure.
Baltimore County. And my sister went to some kind of little, I mean, you had to buy a ticket, but it was some kind of little party that they had that he was throwing.
Huh.
And I was like, that would have been a cool thing to do, because he seems
Sure.
like an eccentric.
Yeah. He's totally an eccentric.
Yeah. And I don't know, I've not seen many of his movies, but he's always been somebody that I've heard of.
I've read some stuff about him. I've read a lot of quotes. Like one of the quotes of his that sticks in my head. He said, "Don't date people that don't read." He's like, if you somebody takes you home or you go home with somebody and they don't have books on their shelves or anything to suggest that they read, leave.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That was his advice on dating.
Interesting.
Don't date people that don't read.
That's.
I don't, which is crazy because I can read articles.
I don't.
I used to
really
read. I do audiobooks better than reading books now. Like I enjoy reading, but I tend to fall asleep. That's because of the time I read and stuff. I'm a big fan of audiobooks.
I mean, I used to drive a lot from here to DC, and I would listen. Well, I'd listen to podcasts a lot,
Sure.
but I would, sadly or weirdly enough, often talk to myself out loud as if I were doing a show.
Sure, no, well,
You know?
yeah, that's practice.
And
Yeah. I talk to myself out loud sometimes too. That's okay.
but yeah, the books. I've read books and I read books. I read them quickly, but I don't constantly have a book going.
No,
You know what
right.
I mean?
Yeah.
But I am constantly reading articles, doing research,
Yeah.
because I do, quite a bit of research. Even in every day, I just go. There's a specific website that I go to, and I just read about movies, just a couple movies every day, just a couple paragraphs. Oh, I didn't know that, and somehow I'm able to retain that.
Yeah,
If I could apply that to other things,
sure.
it'd be great.
I'll get an idea and I'll read absolutely everything there is to know about said subject until I don't know.
So let's try to burn out and then move on to the next one.
Yeah, and I'm real bad for that. Like I'll get something in my head and I'll just like find everything I can on it.
Now, what do you think you've been the most the best concert that you went to?
Oh,
Because I've had some I've really enjoyed, or maybe even the most disappointing.
I mean, well, honestly, I gotta be honest. Like at the moment, I would have to say because I haven't been to a show in a while, and we went and saw El King in Nashville.
That's right. That's
And I
right.
tell you what, this was the thing. This is almost what made it such a good show. She was sick, and like you could tell, and she only sang for an hour. We only got an hour show out of her, but the quality of the show was insane. I mean, she didn't hold back for that hour, and in fact, she probably couldn't have done another hour if she had wanted to. You know what I mean? Because she would just. But it was fantastic. You know,
So she knocked it out. Like, did it far surpass anything you expected?
Oh yeah. Especially given again that she was sick.
Right.
You know, and so it was this weird thing. It was like you're disappointed
That the set's not long.
that the set's not long. You're not going to get a second. But it was one set. You know, and well, no, it was like one set and then kind of an encore.
Right.
It's kind of what it was. But and so it was good. But then when you look back and you realize just what she just gave you with how she was feeling,
Yeah.
like she gave you a show.
110%.
Yeah,
When
like
she
totally. And she covered the new album for the most part. It's played some of the hits, but the new album it's fantastic.
I'll have
Dude,
to check
Come
her
Get
out.
Your Wife is the name of the new album.
What is it called?
Come Get Your Wife.
Now, I'd heard obviously this song. This was probably her biggest song,
X's
would you
and
say?
O's. Sure.
But I didn't realize until doing a little research, well, especially when you guys went, she's Rob Schneider's daughter.
Yeah. Now known as El King's dad, as he would say.
Yeah.
He's like, I used to be Rob Schneider, but now I'm El King's dad.
That's interesting.
Yeah, and she's gotten a lot better. Like, it was funny because when we went to the show and I was talking, because I was excited, and I would tell people, like, I'm not a huge El King fan. I mean,
Right.
I like a lot of her stuff. I'm not a huge El King fan, but my girl loves El King, so I was super stoked to go see my girl see El King.
Right.
And then the show started, and I was like locked into El King, and it was fantastic. And it was this new album, which is it's good. You know, so you go back and listen to that stuff, it's just come a long way, and it's really good. And the album is very country oriented,
Right.
in the music stylings. But it's a great album.
It's so good that when you get to go to a show, even if you like, I've been to a couple shows. I went to see this band. I'm trying to think what they were called. I think they were called the Front Bottoms, and they were kind of like Dashboard Confessional.
Yeah,
And I wasn't like I never heard of them, and they ended up being really good bands. I love when you go and you don't really expect anything, and then you get pleasantly surprised.
Well, I'll tell you what. There was one time I almost forgot about this, but if you remember the band Sublime,
I do, yeah.
well, way, way, way back in the day, they played this joint called the Groove Tube down in Florida. I can't remember. I want to say it was in Indialantic. And it's kind of a surf shop, and they were not the Sublime that we know now. And from what I recall, I caught them. I didn't stick around long. It kind of sucked, but it was cool. Something like retrospect, it was like Sublime,
right?
Like who would you like to see or wish you could have seen that you won't be able to?
I mean, if I had to, I would. I could say a couple. I could say Michael Jackson.
Sure.
I could say David Bowie.
Yeah.
Tom Petty
would have been good. Sure. There's a lot of people in there.
I really, honestly, now my friend Jake, he recently got married last week. Congratulations, Jake.
Congratulations, Jake.
And actually, he's directed a new movie called Calvert Island that I happen to be in. The trailer dropped this week.
Fantastic.
So yeah,
that was a killer segue, dude.
Yeah.
it
just came to me. But he had seen Michael Jackson perform.
Wow.
And around whenever it did some kind of tribute to a 9/11.
Yeah.
And there were a couple, and I've seen a few like Aerosmith. I saw one time. It was at the 2003 NFL kickoff.
Yeah.
Event party, and it was Britney Spears, Mary J. Blige, Good Charlotte, and Aerosmith.
Yeah.
And each one did like 4 songs.
Oh, that's cool.
So it wasn't a concert of the full one person, but each one did like 4 songs. So that was really cool. But I guess Michael Jackson, David Bowie, Tom Petty.
Sure. I always wanted to see the Beastie Boys.
The Beastie Boys would have been a good one.
Yeah. I'm a big Beastie Boys fan.
To be honest with you, Scott Weiland of Stone Temple Pilots.
Yeah.
I had tickets to see him solo.
Yeah.
Back in 2000, he'd released his second solo album. And I had tickets to see him at the a venue in Baltimore. But an ice storm occurred, and I didn't go. And then one time, about 3 months before he passed away, he was playing at the Orange Peel with his newer band, the Wildabouts. It was
Wildabouts.
Yep, Scott Weiland's Wildabouts. And I didn't get to go because I didn't learn about the concert until it was already too late.
Right. And that happens with me with a lot of shows. There's a good show coming up in Knoxville at the end of the month.
What's that one?
I want to say it's Southern Skies Festival. So it's the end of the month, but it's got Dirty Governors are putting it on. They happen to have a new album come out. And I just discovered them recently. They're from Knoxville, and they're really good too. If you guys are not familiar with Dirty Governors, and Governors like Guvna,
right? Just like it kind of sounds.
Governors,
yeah.
But then Grace Potter is the headliner.
Grace Potter, cool.
Which is really good. And then there's some other people like St. Paul and the Broken Bones and stuff. And other bands that I hadn't heard of, but where I listened to a lot of that kind of stuff anyway. And the Dirty Governors Radio, I've heard all these other bands, but the lineup is good and the music's good.
Right.
And so it's one of those shows like you find out about it a little too quick, and it's like,
I wish I'd
going to be able to pull that off.
Yeah.
I've missed so many shows that way and concerts and people I want to see.
Me too.
What are you going to do?
What are you going to do? Man, the time goes by quickly.
It sure does. We need more time.
We need 4 hours every day.
Or Casey needs to really learn how to keep his mouth shut because we have so much stuff that we want to try and do that it's really hard to fit into a 2-hour time block.
I got to be honest. There was not.
I enjoy the talking. We're good, but
there was not a hesitation that we would ever be able to fill time. Like that never once crossed my mind.
We need more.
When I first started the show, actually back in 2003, I used to stay up at night worrying sometimes about having enough to fill the show
Content to fill time.
because we didn't have a lot of the things like looking up things like we did now.
Right.
So the itinerary that I typed out was like 2 pages.
No, I know. Yeah. Well,
It really was.
but we know we can pick because I like some of this stuff. Like, and I hate that we didn't get time to it tonight, but we can totally
Yeah.
pick up on this stuff. You know, because again, these are going to be fun.
Yeah.
And the contests and stuff.
Yeah, I think it's going to be a great time. So, yeah, thanks everyone for tuning into Real
Yeah,
Talk
enjoy it.
and the Other People's Show. Check out our Spotify, YouTube, TikTok, Facebook page.
Yeah.
Every
The
Monday
personal Facebook
and
page.
Wednesday, Casey has his lunchtime show.
Yeah, yeah. Go follow me on Facebook.
And your YouTube channel.
YouTube as well, both of them.
Casey
Absolutely.
Messick, please. That's Messick.
Sure is. Yep.
Casey Casey.
Yep.
So we've got we're going to do I guess some kind of a murder, death, kill podcast coming up Wednesday.
Wednesday. Yeah.
We're going to do like a limited series. Casey's going to drop in on that. I got a couple guests coming in. Next week we have Anthony Wayne
Nice.
of Anthony Wayne Vibe. He's going to be stopping by. He's going to be, I think he's coming in for Sling Blade and going to stick around. He might even do a song for us.
Super. That would be cool.
I know he has some gigs coming up, so I think he has a gig earlier tonight. He's going to come in after the gig.
Nice.
So it's going to be a lot of fun this summer.
Yeah, it's going to be a fantastic summer. Make sure you keep tuning in.
Yeah, please do. And, check out Black Bear Barbecue this weekend.
Absolutely.
And,
Jeep Jam tomorrow.
Yeah.
Jeep Jamboree starts at 8 tomorrow in
Yeah.
front of Appalachian Mercantile in Appalachia, Virginia.
And like and share 92.5 WLSD on the Facebook page. Tell them that you enjoy the show. And thanks for tuning in, everyone. Have
Yeah.
a good night.
Have a great night. Be careful.